My name's Bressler. Recently moved to the Valley. I actually didn't want to go to college. Once I got into entrepreneurship and I learned about the programs, I was like, all right, just give me all the money you saved up and I'll invest it in a business and I'll make so much more money in 4 years. Like, you could totally make it without going to school. Am I glad I went to school? Absolutely.
Something that I heard in my heart is not what we do, it's who we are.
So entrepreneurship is something that just kind of came out of nowhere.
I went and bought a little trailer to put anything that I could fit from my apartment. And by midnight, by 10 p.m., we were driving to Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of I Am Voz. And guess what? I'm not just Voz, we are Voz. Now celebrating over 22,000 downloads on all platforms. I just posted it. Big shout out to my boy Sergio Torres for making the magic happen. And guess what? Our today's guest is somebody that I just got to know recently and I already admire. But before we even get started, great networking event that you just had. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
How many people did you have?
So it's actually funny. We had about 40 signups beforehand, maybe a little over that. And there's always that rule, it's a numbers game. So you expect, before COVID, it was about a third of the signups. You'd expect to be there. Now it's about a fourth. And we had, I think, over 40 people come. A lot of, it was crazy. Beforehand, I was so nervous. I was like, this is going to be a flop. I'm never going to have another networking event. Let everyone down. It's going to be terrible. And really, just running those events is always a roller coaster of emotions. But yeah, we had just about 40 people show up, and I really couldn't have asked for a better crowd. And thank you for being there. And
of course, man. We go support. And you might be asking yourself, well, who's this guest, right? Putting together networking events. You're very active on the entrepreneurship community. You're doing a lot of great things. You got your own operations going with insurance. But let the world know, man, who you are.
My name's Bressler. Recently moved to the Valley a couple months ago. I am originally from New Jersey, went to school in University of Delaware, and I just decided to just start a new life, get out here, meet some new people, and it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. Just, the people you meet here, the opportunity has been amazing, and, similar to you and your group, just getting out there. There's so much to do, so much to see, and the reason I moved out here is because I am an insurance broker with Goosehead Insurance. So that job got me out here originally, and I got very fortunate very early on to meet some awesome people in the industry, networking wise, entrepreneur wise, financial planning wise. Just got super, super fortunate to be introduced to the space as early on as I did. And my job essentially is to work with realtors and lenders and title representatives, pretty much anyone involved in the real estate industry. And the more networking events I went to personally, and the more people I networked with professionally, the more I realized the entire real estate industry needs to network. It's a very people-oriented business. There's a lot you have to do to get in front of people, to post on social media, to build a personal brand. And the more I connected those dots, I started looking for a real estate networking group in the area that had a presence, that was getting the right people in the room, that wasn't a transactional experience where just trying to get out as many business cards as possible in the night and leave and just hope someone connects with me.
Yeah.
I took a lot from Wicked Awesome, those events and Cocktails and Connections. It felt like I was really getting to know these people on a personal level. So I decided to start the Closing Table. It is centered around the real estate industry. Whether, like I said, you're a realtor, a lender, or you're a landscaper, you put up solar panels, or you're an investor, commercial.
All related services.
Anyone involved in that industry is the people I want there. I want to open up more doors, generate more conversations, build more connections, and I think the last event was proof of that. It was just an awesome time. I met so many great people, had a ton of follow-up conversations afterwards. So
You met me.
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
the power of networking.
But
You
yeah,
meet
that's the
awesome
power of
people like
networking.
us,
But
yeah.
something that I'm very curious, brother, and you just said that you moved from Delaware to here.
Yep.
Do you have any family here, or
No, actually, I didn't know.
you just kind of like just parachuted into Arizona?
Yeah, I didn't know anyone here except my roommate. We grew up together, lifelong friends, business partners, what have you. Yeah, we it took us like 3 or 4 days to drive out here. We had no idea what to expect, and
Also, you guys were both in Delaware, and you decided to move here. Does he have any family?
no, we both of us don't know anyone here. We didn't, and it's just been so crazy the amount of growth and we've seen and people we've met over the last couple of months. It's been just an absolute phenomenal experience.
Brother, that's a very good key point, right? Especially on the value that we offer on this podcast to showcase people like yourself that take that risk, that leap of faith. Well, you'll be surprised how many people are not able to do that, right? They always want to stay comfortable with their surroundings and their area and the people that they work with. But you guys in Delaware, I'm assuming you guys were both in college.
Yeah, I went to University of Delaware. Brady went to Ursinus, and he ended up dropping out to start his business. So commend him a lot. He's very brave for that, and he's killing it right now. So I'm excited to see what he does. But yeah, I graduated from the University of Delaware. I studied entrepreneurship and marketing, and then I added a minor in sales. Just so many great mentors out there that really pushed me to where I am now. And
I love that. I love that part of your life. I love that you take that leap of faith because I can share that with you. I'm not originally from Phoenix or the Phoenix area. I'm from El Paso, Texas. I'm from the border. And I was born in Ciudad Juarez. And in 2012, I felt like I already capped everything that I could do in the area, smaller city. And I went and got home and spoke to my family at the time. And I was like, I think I need to move to Phoenix. Would you like to come with me? Right? And my ex-wife at the time, she was like, yes, let's do it. Literally, I went and bought an SUV. I went and bought a little trailer to put anything that I could fit from my apartment, put everything in those vehicles. And by midnight, by 10 p.m., we were driving to Phoenix. We had no family in Phoenix.
Awesome.
Now, this was like 6 kids, a babysitter, the dog. On the way to Phoenix, right, around 9 to 10 p.m., I'm looking and I'm calling for rental homes, right? I have no idea where I'm going. I've never been to Phoenix before. And I get a hold of a property manager, and he tells me like, yeah, man, I might be able to work something with you. I was like, great, brother. How was your credit? How's everything like that? Obviously, I didn't have too much of a rental history. I was like, listen, I'll pay you the first month, second month, and third month all together right now. I'll transfer you the money. Just send me a link. I'll pay you that right now. So we drove through the night. I stopped to sleep a little bit, and we got here around 7 or 8 in the morning. And we went straight to the house, just GPS our way there. Beautiful house in Avondale. Almost brand new.
there you go.
And the guy was waiting for me with the key on the door. I was like, let's do this, right? Now, obviously, they asked me for job references and, if I had any jobs. So I said, yes, of course I have a job. I got a job offer. Luckily, they didn't check until after I was already in the house because everything was so last minute. But I didn't. I did not have anything lined up. Now, some of the best hardworking people and creative minds are DJs.
Oh yeah,
Right?
love DJ.
As soon as I got here on Saturday, right, I went out there and I went to every restaurant, bar that I could Google because I was out of money.
Yeah.
I spent all my money. I had about $50 to feed my family and a little bit of furniture, right? We went from an apartment to a 3-bedroom house. It looked empty. So I go out there and I start knocking on all the doors and I start going to all the businesses. And by the next day, I got my first residency in one of the restaurants out there in Westgate.
That's awesome.
That's the beautiful thing about music. And it's always, music is a great ground for entrepreneurship to practice everything that you actually learn. So I can relate to that story, brother. I can admire what you did. I can more than you possibly think.
Yeah.
Because taking that leap of faith, right? And big shout out to all my DJs out there, and all the musicians. Believe me, guys, nobody's better at marketing than if you're a musician or if you're a DJ out there trying to hustle. I mentioned that on purpose because guess who else is a DJ, right?
Used to DJ in college. It was a blast. It's the best college job you could ever have. You get paid to hang out and drink with your friends. It's nuts.
Right?
It's awesome.
And it's good money too.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Absolutely.
It was like daylight robbery. But I loved it. It was so much fun. Great experience. Taught me a lot about personal branding and getting your name out there and marketing. Very transferable skills to real estate and what we do now. So
absolutely,
DJs are hustlers. Don't sleep on them.
And it's a continuation, right? Real estate business is a continuation and an evolution from music. Everything that I do is based out of music. I still DJ a lot. I DJ about maybe 20 to 25 times, but now I'm strategic with it. I use it as a tool. Hey, listen, I'm going to DJ and I'm going to promote when I'm out there at Amazon. I'm out there at the schools. I'm out there at the community events. And I like to be involved with the community, right? So you have a gift, the gift of music. And a lot of people will give up on music. I've given up on music many times. Actually, Sergio, he's also a musician. He's a sound engineer, and he comes from music. He's one of the brightest business minds that I have around me. He doesn't believe me, but I keep telling him. I keep reminding him that. Go check out his podcast with Sergio. I'm gonna put the link in there. Make sure you go check out his podcast that he did with me.
Oh yeah.
But through music, you learn so much. I've given up on music so many times, but music, Brian, has never given up on me.
I love that. And one other thing about, I feel like being in that industry is being able to handle failure, handle rejection. I've played in front of, hundreds of people before at bars and parties. And I've also played in front of no one for 3 hours. No one, not a single person. I think the bartenders might've left. I don't know. It was crazy. For 3 hours, not a single person showed up, but you take that experience and you remember it because you remember where you came from. You remember how much that stung, and it really just pushes you forward to do better things.
Absolutely, and you feel like you're back against the wall. One of the reasons I started DJing every day professionally and going out there was because during this time, we're talking about 2004, 2005, I believe the minimum wage was like $7, right? You can't feed a family with $7 an hour, brother. You can't be out there working 40 hours a week. It's 50 hours of your time, of your life, being tied up to that schedule and still trying to make a decent living where you can pay your family's tuition or you can do something else, right? So I was blessed that I went out there and I was booked from Monday through Sunday. I would make in a week double or triple what I would have made in any regular job.
Oh yeah.
And guess what? I was like, what if I make more money? I noticed promoters were making pretty good money. And unfortunately, I was looking at the successful promoters and not at the ones that were not successful. And fortunately as well, because I had the odyssey of going up to the bars and they were paying maybe like, back then it was like $200, $250 per night, right? If for like a weekday, like Tuesday, Wednesday. And I'm like, well, I kind of need more money. So how about this? How about we make a deal? How about I don't charge you anything to DJ? What's your slowest night? Tuesday. Great. How about I create a theme? I start pushing Tuesday nights and I'll charge cover and I'll keep everything at the door. And I thought it was, I'm like, man, if I get 100 people, I charge $5. I'm going to make $500, plus whatever. And I think for the first 4 to 6 weeks, I made like $25 a day, brother.
It's persistence, though. You gotta.
Oh my God. $25 a day, right? And I was spending maybe like $150 to $200 on flyers, promotion, and everything else like that. Brother, then week 7 comes by. I think I got like 80 people.
There it is.
And then steady, I was getting maybe 150 to like 200 people for a while. And then that's when I decided to go into creating shows, into actually putting together events.
I love that.
Crazy story. What kind of music do you DJ?
So I'm really into the house, techno space. I haven't produced anything yet, but I got a lot from college. I adopted that kind of style. And then it's just kind of the places you go and the places you play at, you start to adopt the culture a little bit more. You feel it out, start listening to things that people want to hear. And it's always shifting, but yeah, like house music is my thing. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm a house music DJ as well. That's what I specialize, house music.
Nice.
I used to have a group of 2 people, me and somebody else. That was a whole crew.
I mean, yeah, that's all you need.
Right? Like you and Broad, right? Brady. Sorry, I say Broad every time.
It's fine.
Brady, you and Brady, right? It was me and another DJ. And we created a Latin House Mafia, and we created Empire Records.
Okay. So you and like Swedish House Mafia?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, Swedish House Mafia, Manuel de la Mare, a lot of Latin House, a lot of actual just house. It has a lot of Latin elements. It was that kind of music that kind of brought it up. And then I started throwing raves, right?
That's it.
And I started bringing DJs. I made really good friends with like DJ Areen, DJ Bam Bam back in the day, Afrojack before he was the superstar that he is today. We kind of got to work with him in a couple of shows. Everybody was throwing raves around that time. And one of my biggest success was we had a Friday night scheduled. I wasn't able to book anybody. Neither did I have the money or the funds to actually book like a big DJ. Right. So I just got a group of local DJs. We sent a text blast with all the data and people that we had registered through previous shows. The same night, they had a major DJ across the city in a different club. The same night. They had about 800 people. We had about 700 people. Guess how much my overhead was that night?
How much?
About $300. Mm-hmm. Guess how much we were charging at the door?
Tell me.
$15.
All right.
And we had 700 people.
That's awesome.
The power of relationships.
Oh, yeah.
The power of relationships in the music industry. As you were DJing through college, right? Did you have to bring value other than just music?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the job itself, you are controlling the restaurant. You control the vibe, you control the energy, and if you're giving off bad energy and you're not listening to the crowd, how much money are those bartenders going to make? How much money is that restaurant going to bring in? So you're kind of controlling their payroll. And when I thought about it that way, it scared the hell out of me because now I'm kind of responsible for how much money that bar makes, and it's true. Because if you're not doing a good job, people are going to go to the bar down the street. So there's a lot more to it than just playing music. You got to think about the effect and the ripples it has throughout the restaurant. And luckily, I had some really great relationships with some of the local bars at school. So it was just an awesome experience. And kind of circling back to what you said about having those first 7-8 weeks where you made little to no money. And then
I think I actually lost money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you were losing money because you're doing advertising and marketing, and it takes time and energy to do that. So you factor that in. You're spending a lot of resources to something that's not doing well. But that last week, that 8th week, it just popped off. And that's a quote I heard relatively recently was, "It is impossible to fail if you never give up." It's impossible. At some point, you will succeed. So, I mean, you're just a living testament. That story is just proof that it's true.
And what I learned the most, right? And one of the strategies that I used, because I wasn't bullying any people, it was El Paso is a big entertainment scene, even though it's a smaller city. is since it's on the border, there's a big entertainment scene, and there's a lot of DJs, a lot of competition, a lot of people that with deeper pockets, right? And as me going in and just trying to make it work, guerrilla marketing was crazy. So what I started doing, for example, I started doing USBs, about a lot of cheap USBs and CDs. They were still around, yeah. This was talking about 2007, okay? And I hit the streets, brother. I hit the streets. The busier time, this was in downtown, so there was people walking around between 3 and 6, 3 and 7 was the most flow. And I was stopping people in the street, people that I think will fit the profile that will come on a Tuesday night. And I will share my headphones and be like, hey, check this out. Do you like DJ mixes? Yeah. What kind of music do you like? No, well, hip hop, reggaeton. Yeah, listen to this. I got a reggaeton mix right here. Check it out. Oh man, that's good. Oh man, would you like to buy a CD? Oh, you know what? A lot of people didn't want to buy like $5 CD, right? But they like the mix and everything is like, okay, how about this? I'm gonna let you have this CD, but you give me your phone number and I'm gonna text you the information where I'm playing Tuesday night. Maybe you can come support me. And I did that every single day, talking about rejection. You're a very good looking guy, man. I probably won't run away from you if you kind of approach me to listen to a song. But I was chasing people, right? Pull my finger. No, I'm just kidding. That's from an old movie. I was chasing people like, hey, you come here. Listen to this, But what I noticed that I did is I build relationships. And those people still follow me on social media. Then I learned that people don't invest in your business. They invest on you, on your story. These people have been following me on social media for almost 15 years now. Ever since MySpace. I don't know if you ever remember that, but how old are you?
22.
22. So you were born?
MySpace is a little bit before my time.
Yeah, MySpace is a little bit. Just a little bit.
I missed it by a smidge.
Like you missed it by, oh my God, what were you doing, right? Instead of buying real estate 22 years ago, brother. Wow.
Dude, I should have been investing.
You should have been
Bitcoin.
investing. Absolutely. Mining.
Yeah. Dude. I missed out. I was too busy in elementary school.
Here's what I started doing. I was collecting phone numbers. I was collecting names. I was collecting emails. And I was having people follow me on social media. Guess what I still do today?
Just that.
Exactly the same thing. Guess how many leads do I have now of people that have met me at one point in the last 15 years? Active leads around 700,000 in the entire database.
You're a genius. I wish I had that many leads. I still got to work on it. That's awesome.
And
it's all about the follow-up and you nurture that. And
I started keeping the list, right? If you go through your phone right now, how many contacts do you have?
A decent amount.
Yeah, right? Maybe like hundreds, couple hundred?
Good estimate.
That's a good estimate. And that's a good database to start off. So for all over business, right? And business owners and business entrepreneurs just like yourself, trying to figure out if they have marketing money, if they have, money to pay a social media agency. Brother, pick up your phone and start calling. Yeah. Nobody is gonna invest on you. The people that already know you more than those people. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, Vos, remember that? Oh man, I know my boy Vos. Nobody wants to be sold. You call us an insurance agent, you're not that far away from a realtor.
Yeah.
Not really good reputation, right? Just with the public in general. But they'll invest on Brian.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone and start dialing, right? Like the Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. Pick up the phone, start dialing, and just check with people how they're doing. Build relationships. Whenever they need your service or one of your services, they're gonna come to you because you're their boy. They be following your story. You've been the underdog. And guess what? You build those relationships. Today you're doing insurance. Tomorrow you open a bakery. You're going to have 50 sales automatically from people that follow you from one to another because now your personal branding has been built.
Yeah. I think I might open a restaurant. Got to bring some of the authentic New Jersey and New York food over to Arizona.
Delicious. And I would love to
guys
make
are missing out on pork roll and good bagels. So maybe.
Yeah. Well, let me know, brother. I do commercial real estate. I can get you the best place and, the best deal. Believe me, I can get you the best deal in it. And I got a couple of places. Arizona Center, where we're having our Day of the Dead on November 2nd.
Yeah.
This is an entire mall. Hey, Sergio's been there. He's done a couple of videos there. And I have a great relationship with the owner. Opportunities coming like, Vos, if you refer me somebody for this space, we'll give them a great deal because it will refer to you. Relationships over relationships, right? But you have learned so much, and being 22 entrepreneur, taking the chances, taking everything that you're doing. What made you pick the career for college that you picked?
So I've always been very like creative. I've always, I guess I just can't sit still. I don't know what it is, but the first time I ever started something of my own it was actually me and Brady. We decided to start our own snow shoveling service for the neighborhoods around us, and we're not as cute anymore, so we can never get away with the amount we charge for those people's driveways. But we would walk up with our shovels, and it just snowed a couple inches, what have you, and we'd say like, hey, we're charging you like $60 to do like all your driveway, your sidewalks, your patio, whatever. And they see the shovels. It's like all these young guys are putting their back into it. They got to shovel the whole thing. And they didn't know, but we had a snowblower right behind their car. So it would take us like 10 minutes to actually get it done. So I don't know if we'd get away with it anymore. But yeah, that was kind of the first business. We made a couple $100. Definitely wasn't worth the time we put into it, but it was the start. It was when we realized,
right,
okay, we can actually go do things. Because when you're young, you go to school, your life is pretty much planned out for you until you're about 20. Mm-hmm. You go to elementary school, middle school, high school, college. It's all laid out. You play sports, you have an instrument, whatever that is you're interested in. But once you graduate, you can just do whatever you want. And I think that was the most exciting piece I was looking forward to growing up, was having the freedom to choose my own path. And I found entrepreneurship very early on as that route to freedom. Because anyone could say like, oh, I want to have money. That's my goal. I want to have the nice house, the nice car, the nice wife. But the real goal is always freedom. And
yes,
entrepreneurship allows you to do that. So we picked up on that very early on. We started a furniture flipping company. My parents thought
I heard it was a couch flipping company.
Couch flipping, yeah, it was couch. We would clean couches.
What is couch flipping?
So you'd go on Facebook Marketplace, find a messed up, beat up couch for like $20. I think we did some like recliners, and we invested in cleaning supplies. We would clean it off, list it again for like 5 times the value. And did it work? No. Was it a lot of fun? Kind of. It took up a lot of time, but we were learning like super like invaluable skills of, investing
Absolutely.
in yourself, investing in the time to market things, and how do you position products in a way that people become interested in. Because no one wants to buy a beat up old couch, but if you take the right pictures, the right angles, it looks clean, people catch on. And we would get lowballed. We learn negotiation a little bit. Didn't find a ton of success in that business. We had like a couple deals. The first one we had, it was this lady. She wanted to buy this couch we listed for like a couple $100, and she was like, "Finally, we got a buyer. This is awesome." And she's like, "Yeah, I live in this apartment building." So we show up. There's 6 floors in this building, man. This couch was heavy. And we were like, there's no way she lives at the top. Dude, this couch did not fit in the elevator. We walked up 6 stories, and we're like, there's no way. So didn't do that for too long, but it was a cool experience. And then I got into drop shipping, e-commerce, started getting into reading a lot more, personal investment books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, a lot from Napoleon Hill, Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, stuff like that. And once you start going down that rabbit hole, it's hard to come back because you realize,
Absolutely.
You understand how much more there is to life.
One of the things that I think happens to people when they go the entrepreneurship route, they find so much success or a lot of knowledge because you got to define what success is for you. You guys were successful. You didn't waste any time. All that was investing on your experience. You were learning valuable skills that today they're going to make you thousands. Tomorrow they're going to make you tens of thousands. Next week they're going to make you hundreds of thousands. You know what I mean? because the one thing that you learn is you don't fold, and having a family and being an entrepreneur, it has not been a challenge. It has been more of an emotional challenge than actually a financial challenge, right? One of I remember my wife. She used to think that I was lying to her because I would be like in the morning, right, like around 9 or 8 p.m. I'm sorry, 9 or 8 a.m. I would be like, you know what, babe, we gotta. Oh my god, we gotta downgrade a little bit what we're doing on the phones. I'm looking at the bills, and we gotta downgrade a little bit on this. And I was a little worried about the money. And then by 4 or 5 p.m., I would come in. I was like, hey, do you want to go eat? And I like to eat like at good restaurants. I like steak and
Oh yeah.
So all of a sudden I will walk in the same day at my home and I'll be like, "Hey, you guys want to go eat? Let's go. I'll buy." And she was so confused. She was like, "Wait a minute. We were just cutting down this morning and now we're going to eat." Like she's like, "What are you doing?" And what was happening is I would go out there and find opportunities, charge a deposit for something, make money. You know what I mean? And in my storyline, if I had gone more into the corporate route, I would have done pretty good. I would have done pretty good for myself because I have the drive. However, I wouldn't be able to accomplish maybe 80% what I have accomplished. My biggest accomplishment is being able to put my youngest daughter on private school in a private Christian school
That's awesome.
and pay for it in full now for 3 years. That is my biggest accomplishment ever because now I'm changing the future. If I wasn't doing entrepreneurship and I didn't have the freedom of my time and being able to do any kind of business that I needed to do in order to accomplish that, it would never be possible.
Yeah.
So that's the skills that you're developing. That's what you're looking forward. Such a young start in your career, right? And your age has nothing to do with it. You have more business experience than probably some 40 years old that I know. You have risked more and taken more risks than maybe some 50-year-olds that I know. You know what I mean? And a lot of people will tell you, stay in school. Like, why don't you already have a college degree? Why don't you just get a job? You could get a good paying job, with whatever you study, maybe 60,000 a year, 70,000 a year, maybe 80,000 a year, But now you have full control of how much money you can make.
Yeah. And I think it just comes down to trusting yourself enough to get it done, to stick to your promises. Because, that's probably the number one reason why a lot of entrepreneurs don't make it is because they go through that honeymoon phase of, I see this guy, I got this mentor I bought for $1,000 online. He's making millions, and I'm just going to buy his course and do the same thing. But if you don't put the inputs in and make those choices to hold yourself accountable to it, it's like, well, you're never going to do it. So, believing in yourself and trusting yourself enough to take yourself down that path, I think is the real, reason why I got into it. Because I know, I can get it done. I just need to give myself time and just put enough effort into it. But I wanted to circle back to, your biggest accomplishment, because it wasn't even about, you found a lot of success so far. I know it. And having your biggest accomplishment be helping someone else, especially your daughter, is huge. Because that's what it's all about. It's about giving back and helping others. Because, you see it, like I said, online, the house. People, my goal is to, have this huge house and get this Ferrari. But
Of the Lambo.
Yeah.
Big Lambos are Phoenix. They're big here in Phoenix and
Dude, yeah,
Arizona.
They're everywhere. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But your biggest accomplishment being helping out your daughter is awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And changing the route of my family, right? Because in my case, in my family, I'm the spearhead into this unknown world of entrepreneurship. Especially on the Latino culture, is very like, hey, you better go get a job, something that is going to be stable, right? And it's, being the stability is kind of a fantasy. It really is. Because companies close all the time. People get fired all the time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing really that is really going to help you after that happens. And if you don't have any other set of skills that you can keep them generating money, then you're going to find yourself in a very, very deep hole.
Yeah. And like I said, it all comes down to accountability. Like,
Absolutely.
when you're an entrepreneur, you hold yourself accountable. When you take a job, you just expect that company to hold you accountable.
Oh, brother, and we're getting into the good sauce. We're getting into the most interesting part of this podcast and to the most valuable part, because you have mentioned very good points, which is the freedom, right? Like, entrepreneurship gives you freedom, but that doesn't come without a lot of sacrifice and a lot of work and a lot of hours that make you feel like you're actually chained more than if you had a 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah. It's not easy. It doesn't, it takes a lot of time. And that's one thing I heard a lot when I was interviewing for jobs, and, still now, is the work-life balance. It doesn't exist. It's not, there's no such thing as a 9 to 5. There's never work-life balance. You're always working. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I'm either in the office, out at meetings, at a networking event, or working on the business. There is no balance. But when you start to enjoy what you do, and you combine your work with your play, and they go hand in hand, and it doesn't even feel like you're working.
Exactly. And that goes from, it's not what you do, it's who you become. I always post this, right? And I came up with this phrase. It came very from the heart, and I like to believe that, I don't have to believe, I know that I receive messages, from the universe itself, from God, for whatever people want to call it. And something that I heard on my heart, as weird as that sounds, something that I heard in my heart is not what we do, it's who we are. When I'm asleep, brother, I'm thinking, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I try this? What if I do that? And I'm solving problems. How can I bring value to other people, to other businesses? I didn't make any money until I realized that it was not about sales. I don't think I'm in sales. Even though I'm in real estate, I don't think I'm in sales. I'm in being a resource.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I know people. I build relationships. I want to be your guy. You know what I mean? That's what I want to be. And we had this conversation a little bit ago, right? Freedom. Everybody wants to own their time. But if you get to achieve owning your time, would you know what to do with it? You know what's one of the biggest problems that I see in entrepreneurs and a lot of real estate agents and all the people that offer services, and they're pretty much like 1099, and they manage their own schedule. When you used to have a 9 to 5, you clock in at a certain time and you work for 4 hours, and then you work for another 4 hours, and you were locked in what you were doing, hopefully, if you have good ethics, if you were not stealing time from the company.
Right.
But now that you own your own time, your family is calling you because they just think you have all this free time. Now there's people calling you. And if you actually time how much productive work you did on that day, it would probably be like 2 hours.
Right.
And you're trying to make $200,000, $100,000 a year out of actually working 2 hours. You were focusing more when you had a 9 to 5, showed up to an office, because there was no distractions. And the people around you respected it more. Oh, no, wait. Don't call him. He's at work. Mm-hmm. Don't make an appointment on that day because I got to be at work. But how do you manage your time now? What habits have you developed now?
So one thing I developed in college was the power of a color-coordinated Google Calendar.
Oh,
I lived off my Google Calendar in college. I was in a business fraternity, a social fraternity. I ran an internship program for my major, part-time DJ, friend. I had to make time to go out. That's what college is all about, having fun.
Check how you put an emphasis on having fun. I think that's a different podcast. Yeah. We actually have a different podcast that it's for different people. I'm just kidding, no.
But yeah, I lived off my calendar. I had a to-do list separate with, order of, all right, this is the most important thing. I got to get these things done first. And then I can go down the list and compare with my calendar. So that was a lot of how I built the structure out. I can get very scatterbrained. I forget things, forget appointments, double bookings. Something I used to be guilty of a lot, it kind of sucks. But that's how I, held myself accountable. And then it just kind of very easily transferred over to here. I got my work calendar, personal calendar, cross-check them. So yeah, I make sure everything is somewhere documented because I would totally forget.
Yes.
My parents could definitely attest to that.
Absolutely. Talking about your parents, that's a very good point. Are your parents entrepreneurs as well? Or what was number one? Two-part question.
Okay.
What did your parents think about what you wanted to do? And were they also on business, or they were more of a different lifestyle?
So they aren't entrepreneurs. My father works for Bank of America, and my mother is an elementary school teacher. So entrepreneurship is something that just kind of came out of nowhere. Wasn't really built into my childhood. It just kind of developed over time. But, when I was first starting with the furniture flipping business, they thought it was the stupidest idea ever. They're like, you are losing so much money. You're spending so much time. You're an idiot. This is not going to work. I was like, good, say it. I want to prove you wrong. So yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere, but they understood the opportunity here. And they've been very supportive of that. So that is, always just awesome to have that backing. And, they trust me enough to make the right decisions out here and, really just go all in, focus on what's important.
And there's a lot of controversy, right? About going to college, picking a career, and doing something that is really going to bring value to your life. It's a divided opinion among the public, like college is a waste of time and college is very useful. What is your take on that?
So I kind of have two sides to this. You don't need a college degree. You really don't.
And be honest. You can be brutally honest.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
You don't need a college degree.
Yeah, if you don't like opinions, this is where you change the channel.
Go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else.
You really don't. I mean, there's kids online that I look at and they're like 17, 18, 19 years old making millions. They didn't go to college. You don't need to. I actually didn't want to go to college. Once I got into entrepreneurship and I learned about the programs, I was like, all right, just give me all the money you saved up and I'll invest it in a business and I'll make so much more money in 4 years than if I get a degree and I get a job and I get my benefits. Like you could totally make it without going to school. Am I glad I went to school? Absolutely. Most of it is the social skills. It's the, learning both sides of the coin. I met, so many lifelong friends. My mentors, they put me in a position where I could be here right now. So it's really up to, you, whatever you feel is right. For some people, obviously if you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer, I got to go to college. But, if you want to be an entrepreneur, screw it. You don't have to go to school. There's always that conception that if, like I said, if you want to have a nice job and you want to make a lot of money, you have to go to school. But you don't. I think the number one priority in school is just have fun. Enjoy. I mean, at least for a business, if you're a business major, you don't have to do much. But
and I can correlate with that. I went to college after the military. I served.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much for saying that, and you're welcome. When I went to college, I was already a father of two, and I was going more to night school. I was going more in business. I started off with business administration and marketing, and I think there's two takes, right? There's people that go to college and they do the very minimum just to pass their classes, but they're not really interested on what they're learning. They're not investing themselves in what they're learning. I went to college and it was a waste of time because I don't use anything of what I learned. Well, that was more like a personal choice.
Right.
The material was there. You know what I mean? Just because you went to college doesn't mean that you're educated. Just because
Absolutely.
you didn't go to college means that you're uneducated.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And something that you did, you took the best of both worlds and you went to college and you have done a lot of self-education. Sometimes people tell me if you made all this money on this business, where did the money go? I invested it on myself. I invested in courses. I invested in everything that I could in order to make myself a more valuable person.
Yeah.
Right? And people think we're in sales on insurance, right? And in real estate, people think we're in sales like we're gonna chase people going down and telling them, hey, buy a house for me or use my services, or hey, I'm gonna sell you insurance. However, the knowledge that we have could literally change somebody's life. In 2008, when people were losing their house, 2008 crisis, when everything collapsed, look it up. Everybody that is listening to this, look it up. How many people committed suicide because of the economic situation that they find themselves, that they had no education? I have the knowledge in real estate or in other fields to become a resource, whether they're clients or not. I'm always advising people on what I think is the best, and I'm always giving them the best advice, whether they're my clients or not. A lot of them, they never become my clients. They're working with other people. I did erase them from social media. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. But
They got the button.
now, right, when you're talking about life insurance, when you're talking about insuring your family, your future, it's very, very, very important. Saturday, I had an event in Pioneer Park. Thank you to the East Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for having me there and hosting the event. There was a life insurance booth, and they come and they bring me the flyer so I could just announce them. And I could have just read the flyer. However, in the Latino community, when you're driving down the west side or you're driving down the street on Thomas and all this stuff, why do you see people holding up a sign and doing car washes to bury their loved ones?
Wow.
And what I said, and when I went up there in the mic was, listen, today we become educated. I need you to go and change our future right now and protect your family, protect your life. It can cost you as low as, what's like some life insurance policies cost as low as?
I mean, $100
$100
a month.
$100 a month, and they go up, right? Like there's all kinds of products.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many benefits. You get like living benefits. You can use that to your advantage to invest. I think there's a lot of stigmas around it. Not a lot of people have like you said, the financial education to use these policies correctly and the loans you can get from it. So, and I like how you called yourself a real estate advisor.
Absolutely.
It's powerful. Because when you call yourself a real estate agent, a real estate salesman, it's like, all right, it's kind of just like a one-way street. Like, you want to sell me.
Mm-hmm.
But what you mentioned at the Plexus group when we almost first met was it's always people first and then business second.
Absolutely.
You got to take care of the people and the money will follow. And that ties into something that I learned beginning of this month, actually, was you want to focus on the inputs, not the outputs. What are you putting out to other people that gives them value? Because what I was focused on when I first moved here was my outputs. I was worried about how much revenue I'm putting up, how much success I'm finding monetarily. And then I had a really cool sales mentor that I met with him for like an hour. And he said, well, how many calls are you making a day? How many visits are you going on?
Yes.
Because that's what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
You can control what you put out and the energy you give off to other people and the authenticity of your service. That is what you can control. You can't control how much money is going to come in, how much success you're going to find. That follows afterwards. And the day I shifted that mindset, I kid you not, Vols, I put up money on the board. The first day I changed that mindset. I got a deal done. It was crazy.
And actually, you and I have been texting a lot. He texts me like at 4 in the morning. He's like, hey, what are you doing? What are your plans for today? So we're keeping each other accountable, right?
Yeah.
I told you what my goals are, and you told me what some of your goals are. And it's like, hey, brother, you putting in the work? I'm putting in the work. You just told me like, hey, you got some events? I would love to be in the events, community events, right? We want to make money at our community. We want to make money out of our Scottsdale community, our Phoenix community, our Chandler community, our Arizona community. But what are you willing to do for your community?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everyone wants to help. Everyone wants to be successful, but it's like, how bad do you actually want it?
Exactly.
And that's a deciding factor.
And one of the things that, in my experience on working with you, and a true testament of your values, your work, and how much you're fighting for people is I get a call from a very good friend of mine. And she's like, Voz, this just happened after the Haboob, right? Like her AC got destroyed. And she's like, I put in a request and into my home insurance. And guess what? They don't want to cover it. And not only did they not want to cover it, they took my premium from what I was paying to $7,000 a year.
It's crazy.
And she called me for help because she knew I was a resource. I didn't have to go sell absolutely anything. The first thing I said is like, don't worry. I got the perfect person that can help you today. And she told me, I need this fixed today or tomorrow before my next mortgage payment. I think this was like the 29th or the 30th, like a couple of days right before the month ended. Yeah. I pick up the phone and I call my boy Brian and I'm like, brother, I got somebody and they need your help. I didn't call you and I said, I got to sell. What did I say?
You said, I got a friend and she needs your help. Like,
and what did you do?
We helped out. We saved her a ton of money. And, you know, we were talking, and I mean, some people that are in these situations, they don't own their homes. Like, she might not own her home till like 2050, 25 years from now. Mm-hmm. And your insurance, some of that cost gets taken out of your mortgage payment. Or it gets added on, It gets added on. So, you know, the more you're paying, the longer it's going to be. Maybe saving her $5,000 in premium is going to help her own that home a couple of years earlier. And then her children can enjoy it. And then they can be, you know, on that platform to move forward. So when you think about the ripple effects it has, there's so much gratification and in helping people that way. And when you think about it that way, you just, I don't know, I get like inspired to go out and do more. So I was really glad that things turned out well for her. It was just awesome.
And I called her later because I always check on the people that are referred. And as business owners, entrepreneurs, and people that are building a personal brand and making these relationships, you have to be very careful on who you refer, right? Because you might lose a relationship that you built for 5 or 10 years when you referred somebody that did not take care of your friend.
Yeah. I mean, when you refer someone, they become an extension of yourself. They're
Absolutely.
An extension of your business and your image. So it's super important to not only have a network, but what's the word I'm looking for? A valuable network, one that you can trust. And that's something that I saw really early on, like I said, in that Plexus Group presentation you guys did. It was very ethics oriented. You talked about ripping up that contract for 6 figures.
Yeah.
But it was screwing that guy over. And you might give up on the monetary value in the short term, but in the long term, that guy might know someone that's going to help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be a little less mathematical. And believe me, the biggest thing that you can do as an entrepreneur, right, is not only strengthen your knowledge, but you got to strengthen your body, mind, and soul. Mm. You know what I mean? The first thing that I tell somebody when they ask me like, hey, where should I start in business? I'm like, go join jiu-jitsu or something like it, right? Go join jiu-jitsu. First of all, take care of yourself. Number 2, take care of your faith. And faith is a tricky word, right? Faith is kind of like believing in something that there's really not proof. Go and work on converting your faith into a no. You know what I mean? Mm. Do you have faith that your mom is your mom, or do you know that your mom is your mom?
I know it.
That's how strong your spiritual beliefs have to be.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go from, I know that there is a higher being to, you got to go from, I believe there's a higher being to, I know.
Yeah.
And trust. A lot of it has to be in trust. There's situations where my business partner and I, we had projects that he gives me a call one day and is like, hey, Vos, 9 p.m. He gives me a call. He's like, hey, Vos, we got to close 2 properties tomorrow. And if we forgot about it, we got to have the money by 11 a.m. And we need $75,000 to close these 2 properties. Okay, how much do we have? Nowhere near. Not even half. We didn't even think about it or did this on purpose. I just told him like, okay, let's go to sleep and tomorrow we'll wake up and we'll figure this out. Okay. I went to bed, slept like a baby, woke up at 6 a.m. or like 5 a.m. and I started making calls, and guess what? By 11 a.m. it was done.
There you go.
There's times in business where we couldn't even, cover payroll. And somehow, some way, the day of, we covered it. And of course, it's a risk. Not everything is gonna go your way, but never fold. Just don't fold. And everybody, right? Whatever your opinion is. One thing that I learned from one of the motivational speakers that I listen to, he has the Blessed and Unstoppable kind of videos, and is don't set your goals according to your own abilities, but set your goals according to the God you serve.
That's a lot.
So strengthen your faith, strengthen your mind, strengthen your body, and strengthen your energy. You know what I mean? And that's going to take you miles. You're going to attract, one of the conversations we had, right, when we were talking on the phone. I didn't mean to chew you up that day.
No, you got to have the tough love. Tell it how it is.
We were talking about chasing money. You chase money, money runs. And I didn't make that up. I heard that on a Pitbull video.
Yeah.
He's actually a huge successful entrepreneur. Yeah. I had the pleasure of meeting him in person before. Nice. So he says this: if you chase money, money runs.
Money's fast.
Yeah, it's faster than you. But when you attract, right? And you attract how? Not by wishing into the universe that you just had this money. No. By investing in yourself and bringing value. People are going to come to you because of the value that you bring in anything that you do. I look for Sergio, right? I want Sergio to produce this podcast. I wouldn't have any other producer do it. People tell me like, oh, dude, like, you could just get a couple of cameras and this and that and do it yourself and just get somebody from high school and, press a couple of buttons. No, not at all. I will go to Sergio. And for certain things, now that I know Brian, I would only go to Brian.
Amen to that.
And now you're developing those relationships where you're going to have your people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What is the biggest advice that you would give everybody and in business? Because you're actually very far ahead on your entrepreneurship journey. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're quite ahead. And you got a lot of value. You got a lot more knowledge than some of the people that I know and I try to coach. So what is the best advice, the best 3 things that have worked for you that will help somebody today?
The first one I'm going to start off with, it's like kind of corny. People have probably heard it all the times. It's like not your net worth, but your network. It sounds corny. You've heard it 1,000 times, but it's true. Like, I don't have a ton of things, at 22 years old, but I have a lot of people in my circle, a lot of awesome people that I met at networking events, and you got to be comfortable with putting yourself out there. Risk being made fun of, risk the criticism, and just doing it anyways. That was super important. Like, I wasn't the most comfortable meeting these new people who are levels above me, but being able to just be a human being and genuinely connect with them has gotten me to where I am now. It definitely got me in front of you. Some of the people that I've met very early on just brought me to Plexus Group. I think Dave was the one that recommended me go. And I actually met Juan Cruz previously. Great guy, Lions Real Estate. They're doing awesome stuff over there. But yeah, you just can't be afraid to risk it. You got to know what's important to you. And that was one thing I struggled with posting content on my Instagram page was, People at home are going to think I'm weird. They're going to unfollow me. They're not going to understand it. And people unfollowed me, people from home. It kind of hurt. It stung like, damn, I thought we were friends, but, now I know your true colors, which is good.
Absolutely.
But what I noticed was those followers that left got replaced by better people in my life, people that wanted to see me succeed, that know what I'm doing. They understand it. And that was important. So don't be afraid to get yourself out there. The second one would be, like I mentioned, focus on your inputs, not the outputs. You have to, there's this quote, it's actually my lock screen. I'm going to read it.
Absolutely.
It's, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That's called a serenity prayer. Do you know where that comes from?
Where?
A serenity prayer, it comes from mainly and popularized on drug addiction recovery centers.
Yeah.
But it's so powerful.
Yeah.
If it can change the mindset and the life and the spiritual strength of somebody in that situation, what can it do for you? My brother, I am so blessed and so glad that itself, because I can show you, I have it on my notes, and that's the same prayer that I do every morning.
Yeah. If you can understand that concept and apply it every day, you will be successful at some point. You just, like I said, you have to keep going. Believe in yourself. Take an hour of your day to look at everything you're stressed about, all the worries you have, everything that's holding you back, and sort it into two categories. Can I control this or can I not? Cool, I can't control it. Why am I worried? There's nothing I can do. Let me focus on the things I can control. And, you could build a plan around that. But, once, like I said, I had that mindset shift one day, and it hasn't been the same since. And it's been just like super eye-opening.
And what's the third one?
The third one, man, I should have taken some notes before I came. This is a tough question.
Then it wouldn't be genuine.
It wouldn't be genuine. Just do everything out of love, out of kindness. Do things because you want to help, not because you expect something in return.
Absolutely.
So just, be your best self every single day. Don't be afraid to take risks. It will pay off at some point. And just focus on the things you can control. And success will follow. Happiness will follow. And that's, I think, the path to a pretty good life.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with those 3 points. I'm very glad that you're giving us that advice. I think a lot of people need to listen to it. A lot of people need to apply it. And brother, we got into the end of the show, but I would love to follow. I think we have so many conversations that we can share and so many lessons that you're going to be learning across these next days, these next hours, today, these next weeks, these next few months, that you're building a great circle. God willing, this will be a great platform for you to build even a bigger circle, give you a lot of credibility, because everybody that's been watching and enjoying this podcast and returning every single episode, guess what? They're learning something. There's some kind of value that is being offered. And if you guys have any questions for Brian, anything at all, other than he's single or married, don't ask things like that. I'm already married. I already got 10 questions of that. No, I'm just kidding. Sergio, I got 30 questions if Sergio was married. Yes, he is. Leave him alone.
He's the unsung hero.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the one that actually brings the audience. I know. However, make sure you leave us the comments. Let us know exactly what is it that you want to know, any future topics. And we're going to have Brian here a couple of times, but we're going to have you many times in this podcast.
A lot more to talk about.
A lot more. And we got to follow your journey. You want to follow Brian's journey. What's your social media, brother?
It's Brian.Bressler on Instagram.
And Instagram, that's where you focus the most?
Yeah. Instagram, I said this actually earlier at a meeting. Instagram is like your digital resume now.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So thank you very much to everyone that has been listening to the podcast, putting up with us, giving us comments, sharing the podcast. If you want to be in the podcast, make sure you go to my website, IAmVoz.com. Go to the podcast section and there's going to be a little sign-up sheet. We look forward to having many more episodes. This is DJ Voz. This is Brian Bressler, and we approve this message.
The man.